Assalamu alaikum. Tonight's name is Al-Akram. Allah Azza wa Jal is Al-Akram. Al-Akram means that Allah is the most noble and the most generous. And those two things are very much related to each other, being noble and being generous. Because the more that you give, and the more that you give away and give to others, the more noble people will see you as, and the more noble you will become. What's the one thing that helps us be more generous and therefore also being more noble? It's wanting little. Now, Allah is Al-Akram because He doesn't need anything. If you or I, for example, had just baked chocolate chip cookies and we had some friends over, we would give some away to our friends, we would share some, but in the back of our minds we would always be thinking, well, every cookie I give is one that I'm not going to get. So our desire, our need, or our want for the cookies, that kind of limits our generosity, and that limits how generous we can be. But Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't want cookies, He doesn't need food, He doesn't need anything, and so everything is His and He can just keep giving and giving and giving, and there's no hesitation, and there's no reluctance, and there's no regret. So Allah Azza wa Jal is Al-Akram. And actually it's interesting because there's a way in which we can get better at this sort of generosity and nobleness too. We learned that there was a man that came to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and he asked him a question. He said, what should I do if I want Allah to love me and I want other people to love me? The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he told him, if you take little from the world, Allah will love you. And if you take little from what belongs to other people will love you too. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Akram, the most generous and the most noble. And that's all for tonight. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.